it's Miss Tonya, and I am one of the interns that comes to Big Red School on Tuesdays. And this summer we have been studying about pets. And today we are going to read a book about a pet, a cat. Do you guys have any pets at home? Do you have a cat or a dog or a fish? Well, this book is about a special cat. His name is Pete the cat, and he has 4 groovy buttons. This book is written by Eric Litwin, and he is the author. The person that writes the words is called the author. And art by James Dean. He is the illustrator. Remember, the illustrator draws the pictures. Pete the cat and his 4 groovy buttons. Pete the cat put on his favorite shirt with 4 big, colorful, round, groovy buttons. He loved his buttons so much that he sang this song. My buttons, my 4 groovy buttons. My buttons, my 4 groovy buttons. Pop! Oh no! One of the buttons popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? If he had 4, 1 popped off, he has 3. That's right, 3 buttons left, because 4 minus 1 equals 3. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no, because buttons come and buttons go. He kept on singing his song. My buttons, my 3 groovy buttons. My buttons, my 3 groovy buttons. Pop! Oh no! Another button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? We had 3. 1 popped off. So how many are left? 2. That's right, because 3 minus 1 equals 2. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. He kept on singing his song. My buttons, my 2 groovy buttons. My buttons, my 2 groovy buttons. Pop! Oh no! Another button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? He had 2. 1 popped off. How many are left? You're right. 1. Because 2 minus 1 equals 1. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. He kept on singing his song. My button, my 1 groovy button. My button, my 1 groovy button. Pop! Oh no! The last button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? We had 1, and 1 popped off and rolled away. How many are left now? 0, because 1 minus 1 equals 0. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. Pete looked down at his buttonless shirt, and what do you think he saw? What do you think he saw if all his buttons were off his shirt? His belly button. And he kept singing his song. It's all good. my button, still have my belly button, my button, still have my belly button. I guess it simply goes to show you that stuff will come and stuff will go. But do we cry? Goodness no, we keep on singing. Buttons come and buttons go. The end. Wow, did you guys like that story? That is one of my favorite. And we have a really cool activity, math activity that you can do, because we sent home with you a copy of Pete the Cat, and you can use your, what are these called? Scissors. Yeah, we can use scissors, but we always need adult help if we're going to use scissors, because we don't want to get hurt. And you can cut Pete the Cat out, and then use, what could I use to put him on this piece of paper? Glue. I could use a glue stick if I had it. If I didn't have glue at home, I could use tape. And even if I didn't have Pete the Cat, could I draw Pete the Cat? Why, sure I could. And then I can use my crayons to color him. And how many buttons did Pete have? 1, 2, 3, 4. And Mom and Dad, Grandma, Grandpa, aunts or uncles can help you at home if you have some Velcro. And Velcro it's like these little dots, and they have 2 different ends, a sticky end and a smooth end. And you can put your buttons on with that. And as you read the story and hear the story, you can pop. As Pete's pops off, you can pop them off and count how many are left. If you didn't have buttons at home, we could use Cheerios or Fruit Loops and anything like that to just lay them on there and then take them off as we're reading the story. We also have another activity where you can write your own story. And families, this is just a little guide to go by, but you could just use any kind of piece of paper, whatever. I just made up this one with a picture of Pete and just gave them a little something to go by. My blank, groovy blank. So instead of buttons, as you read the story, just talk to them about, well, what else could Pete have, or what could you have in your story that you lost or popped off? So for instance, they could say, I want to use cupcakes. And, okay, be my cupcakes, how many cupcakes? 1, 2, 3, 4, my 4 groovy cupcakes. And they can draw a picture. For the younger ones, they can't write the words. Even if they just scribble, that's still getting the fine motor skills in and helping them to think that they're writing a story. That's their words in their little mind. For the older children, you might could say, like if they were using cupcakes, for instance, okay, cupcakes, what letter would that start with? And work on beginning sounds and show them how to make that first letter. For a lot of the older ones, they can spell it if you help them and actually write their own story and draw their own picture in here. So anyway, it's a lot of different ways to do the activities, but just basically working on a story, and with the math, just counting down. You can add them back on and work on addition, counting up or counting backwards, either one. So I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Thanks.